Welcome, welcome, welcome. I know I'm a bit late, but don't worry, it's going to be worth it. Have a lot to cover here, so I was going to get straight into it. But hold on a sec. I want you to enjoy something while I get myself together. Hold on a bit. Hold on 1 second. I know this is dead silence, but just hold on. Give me a minute. Mm, 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 mm. All right. I'm going to get myself together real quick here. Just to set the mood, just to set everything up.
If I screwed up so bad, how come I'm a billionaire?
Billionaire? Please, you're worth 700 mil on the high side. And most of that is borrowed or tied up and underwater. That's why you ain't releasing your taxes, Trump. You're cash poor.
Okay, so Christina, just so I'm clear about this, I want to be really clear.
This week on Family Guy.
Hey, Dad, I want you to meet my new friend, Meg.
Pleased to meet you, Meg. You have a beautiful rack.
Oh, thanks.
I was talking to my daughter. Next week on Family Guy.
Hey, Dad, I want you to meet my new friend, Meg.
Pleased to meet you, Meg. You have a beautiful rack.
Oh, thanks.
I was talking to my daughter. Next week on Family Guy.
Hey, Dad, I want you to meet my new friend, Meg.
Pleased to meet you, Meg. You have a beautiful rack.
Oh, thanks.
I was talking to my daughter.
So, I'm going to keep harping on this because we have a lot of so-called Republicans that they just can't seem to face reality here. So I'm going to keep driving this home until they admit that it is what it is. That what's going on is really what's going on. So you see the title here is basically me talking about FBA victimhood and R1. I already explained to you what R1 means. R1 just means Republican first. That's all that it is. So going to our official, because look, some of them, even you got the Black Americans that swear they're Pan-Africanists and they love Black people and we're all one. But when the rubber meets the road, they pretty much show their true colors, right? They pretty much show their true colors of who they really are. That's how you test someone's mettle. Someone can say, hey, yes, I'm this, I'm that. I'm all for this, I'm all for that. But when it's come time to show and prove, they all fall short. They all fall short of what they're supposed to represent. It really kind of shows you, do they really mean what they say? Is that the cornerstone of the foundation that's supposed to be B1 instead of R1, right? So right here, our official Pan-African strikes back. He's talking about Nina Turner. Now, yes, I'm a bit biased. I like Nina Turner. Nina Turner is okay. She's all right. She's not the end all be all or whatever. But the reason why, and we're going to explore this video. The reason why I'm like, why is he talking about Nina Turner, right? So it really eggs me. It really bothers me because he's going to talk about everything, anything else. He's supposed to be, I know what's going on with politics, and as a man this, as a man that, as a man this. We all know he ain't no man. He's no real man. Saying when it comes to this, saying he's a beta bitch. Saying we all know this when it comes to politics, right? So he's not going to mention all the things that needs to be mentioned, right? He's not going to mention that the states not giving abortion rights to rape victims. Republican states not giving rights to rape victims. Not at all, right? Republicans also say no to abortion for that 10-year-old girl that got raped, right? For abortion that could save her life. A 10-year-old girl going through birth, it could kill her, right? No mention of that. And isn't he the person that says, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll come and I'll redact what I said, and nothing yet. And I'm gonna show you where he doubles down on it. Not necessarily double down on it, but he's not going to admit that he was wrong, right? He's not gonna talk about women not getting aborted. So women that had a miscarriage, the same procedure you would give for an abortion is the same procedure you would give a woman that has a miscarriage, right? Republicans and Republican states don't even want that. So they're saying a woman has to give birth to a dead fetus, right? Republicans not, since they care about children and Pizzagate and all these other people and stuff like that, they just elected again in the midterm election Gates. Matt Gates they cool with Matt Gates, even though Matt Gates messes with teenagers, right? Messes with teenagers. Nothing about that. He don't want to say anything about that because that's just people. You have to be R1. That's all that is about, right? So that's what it has to be about. He's going to say nothing about Herschel Walker, which is right now leading in Georgia for the office that he's in. Herschel Walker, an idiot. He's like Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? Herschel Walker, right? Who has illegitimate children out of wedlock, denied them, right? And then one of the exposed say, yeah, he does all this. He does things for them. He visits them when he doesn't really do that. He doesn't do any of that stuff, right? Nothing. He's good. Georgians like him. Even the white Georgians like him. Like, hey, look, he's an idiot, right? So obviously he's one of ours, right? He beats his wife. One time he put a gun to his wife's head, saying he was going to kill her. The dude said he got like multiple personalities in a book that he wrote. No. Brandon's not going to talk about that. No, it's not important. Not important. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to talk about Trump sending about the insurrection, about the January 6th insurrection. He's not going to talk about how Trump knew what was going on and how he wanted to go to the insurrection. He's not going to talk about how all the people, Republicans, saying that, he sent to go kill Mike Pence, went to go kill Pelosi. He said he didn't care about any of that stuff because I'm not being hurt. He's not saying any of that. He's not saying about, how, Trump and Giuliani work with the Oath Keepers and they work with the Proud Boys. Nah, he didn't want to say none of that. No. Don't want to say it. That's not important, right? Right? Nothing about Alex Jones, because Republicans, everything, anything to keep their guns, they're gonna say, false flag. So Alex Jones lost a defamation lawsuit saying that Sandy Hook was a hoax, and all the people that were involved in Sandy Hook were just actors, and they had, again, because Republicans, they're children, they're simple-minded children, so they were harassing the parents that lost their children in Sandy Hook, where I think one was the Posner family or whatever. They had to move like 2-3 times because people keep saying that, you're fake, you're actors, y'all just doing this so y'all can take our guns. So they rather do this than form some type of logical gun reform law for safety, right? Because in a great deal of these shootings, the people that have these guns are people that got the gun legally, not illegally. They got the gun legally, right? Now he don't want to say anything about Alex Jones losing a defamation lawsuit, whatever, to retain guns. So he's not going to say that. He's not going to say anything about that, right? He's not going to say, he also lied on oath. Alex Jones, he lied on oath. He's not going to say anything about there was a black principal that got fired. He was working mostly in a white, I think it's in a white to kind of maybe mixed area. I'm not too sure. He got fired. The everyone in the neighborhood got him fired because he was talking about American history, which the right wing now calls CRT. He's not going to mention that. He's not going to mention Trump trying to make money off of his wife, his ex-wife's death. He's not going to mention that. He's not going to mention about John Bolton admitted that he did coups in black and in brown nations. He's not going to talk about that, even though he's supposed to be pro-black, but we all know that's bullshit. He's not going to talk about Lon Bolbert saying that the church should run the government. No, he's not going to talk about that. That's not important. None of this stuff is important. He's not going to talk about Trump stealing secret files. He's not going to talk about Trump refusing to give the documents to the FBI, right? He's not going to talk about that. And he's also not going to talk about him, just showing the warrant. Just show the warrant. They're not going to talk about that stuff. No, he's not going to talk about that because the whole thing was like, oh, you guys, this is a witch hunt, and you do this illegally, yada yada yada. Okay, they gave you a warrant. Why don't you show the warrant, right? And when they want, show the warrant, and the warrant's being shown, all the Republicans now are like, okay, you're going to show the warrant. Then they say, we don't want to see the warrant because they know what it is. They change position like the wind. They're not going to say he's not going to say anything that the FBI was being attacked all over the country, and people trying to get in the FBI and kill FBI agents. Right? He's not going to talk about that. He's not going to talk about that, about Trump sending his goons and people that were part of January 6th to attack the FBI. He's not going to mention that. He's not going to mention the fact that when the FBI, the files that Trump took were classified sensitive files that are not supposed to be taken out the White House or any secured government facility, not in a basement in Mar-a-Lago. He's not going to mention that either. But what he is going to mention politically, complain about student loan debt and Nina Turner. That's what he wants to talk about. That's what he wants to tell you about. That's what's important as a so-called man, as a so-called black man, as a so-called Pan-African. This is what he wants to talk about. Black people getting all people getting some type of minuscule loan forgiveness, and Nina Turner that lost the race. That's what he wants to talk about. But it goes back to FBA victimhood. What is FBA victimhood? Now, when I say FBA victimhood, FBA is nothing but offset, a branch of white supremacy. So, in other words, we're talking about niggas here. Pardon my language, but that's what I mean when we talk about niggas here. We talk about that people with that particular mindset, right? That's the particular mindset that we're talking about when it comes to these people, right? So he talks about all these political things that you're supposed to be as audience, you guys supposed to be well informed, right? So some of you may say, well, you're not saying anything about Joe Biden. Joe Biden doesn't do shit. He doesn't do anything. That's the frustrating about Joe Biden. He makes promises and continues not to do anything along the way. That's a pretty boring thing. But hey, Trump is exciting. Trump is exciting, in good ways and mostly bad ways, right? So when we're talking about victimhood, this is when a Republican, FBA, or one Republican talking about victimhood, he's meaning, don't make white people feel uncomfortable now. Forget about your trauma. Your trauma is not important. You just need to do what the white man says, which is pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. We don't want to hear about slavery. We don't want to hear about systematic white supremacy. We don't want to hear about unarmed black people getting gunned down. We don't want to hear about redlining. We don't want to hear about black people paying higher interest rates on loans. We don't want to hear anything about that. Just keep your head down like a good nigga and work hard. That's all. That's his main focus. That's his goal. That's where he wants to get all black people. This is what he wants to do, right? So he has to purge any type of self-respect that you may have as a black person, and you be this just empty shell of a person. So you could go up under Republicans and be well-behaved niggas. So he's trying to take y'all out the field and put y'all inside the big house. That's what he's trying to do. So we're going to see what it means when he means by a victim mindset. And hold on one moment. I'm trying to see if anybody could hear me right now before I share my screen. I'm just going to do a sound test. Just hold on 1 minute. I'm going to do a sound test. All right, hold on a minute. I'm going to share my screen in a little bit. And we're going to just get right into this because, like I said, we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to cover over here. So I'm going to put the volume up. So we're just going to let him tell it. We're just going to let him tell it. All right. We're just going to let him tell it how it is, since he's a perfect example. He's a perfect guinea pig of de-evolution of a black man. This is a de-evolution of black people politically. So we're going to let him tell it.
Had resilience. They could tear it down, but we built it back up again. Black Wall Street was built back up again. Everyone that ever was destroyed, it was built back up again. In Africa, when invaders came and they brutalized us, we would just migrate to a different place. And the minute we got to somewhere that was comfortable and safe, we started building. We didn't sit back and bellyache and lament about the past and what we lost. We just got right back to business. The business of life and living, taking care of and protecting our families. And we carried that from Africa into America. Over 90% of slaves, when they were children, grew up in a two-parent household.
I hate when Republicans say that nonsense. You did not have a choice but to be in a two-parent household. You can't say, well, he or she is getting on my nerves. I'm going to the other town. Like, that makes no goddamn sense. They wanted you to stay together so you could procreate. That's like you separate. They saw it like, oh, why are you going to separate that herd of cows from a other herd of cows? No, you're not going to do that because you want them to procreate. The more cows you have, the better. The more chickens you have, the better. The more goats you have, the better. The more donkeys you have, the better. So why? Of course you would be together. It's an incentive. Yeah, like we had the freedom not to be together. You know what? Can't stand this woman. You know what? I can't stand this man no more. Master, can I leave? He sounds like an idiot.
You can't blame the problems now that we have with the black family and interpersonal relationships among black people on slavery. Back during slavery.
This dude is an asshole. You can't blame generational trauma now today on slavery. So this is a question I want to ask idiots like this. When has racism stopped? When has systematic racism stopped? If you ever thought it was a thing. When has systematic racism stopped? That's what I want to ask them. To say something as dumb and retarded and backwards as that is it always dumbfounds me. Like, is this person playing with a full deck of cards? Does this person have an agenda? Because we all know that once you traumatize, like there's this they did this experiment one time where you had an elephant, a baby elephant, grown up, it was shackled to just just a little it was tethered to the ground to where it was, right? a little shackle, nothing too strong, but just strong enough to hold a baby elephant, right? And that chain and that shackle could only allow that elephant go but so far. So the shackle always stayed on the elephant. So as the elephant got older, it got bigger, it got stronger, but it still had that shackle on it and it could still go that distance. Once that shackle was loose or not even tethered to the ground, you know that elephant couldn't still think in its mind that it could only go so far. Because it grew up thinking that I cannot go no further than where I'm usually expected to go that whole time. So that elephant has trauma. Now, if that elephant has that same trauma and he tells its other little elephants the same thing, that craziness, that lunacy turns into normality because now it's been normalized. Like, we all know that any little tragedy that happens to anyone, whether it be as a group or individual. So, hey, look, you had some trauma happen to you. Like, hey, I got robbed. This person got raped. Or we were all in a situation where we're in a bank robbery or a shooting or 9/11 or anything happens. What do they say? If anybody wants to talk, please go seek counseling. We have people here that you could talk to and talk it out because I know it's hard for you guys and individual folks and things like that. Nobody ever came to Black people and did that and acknowledged our trauma and what we've gone through at all. Nobody ever came to us and say, hey, look, you guys have been done wrong for about a dozen generations, and we need to get you guys right mentally. Like, even when you look at slavery, right, you had the African that came, right? So let's say in the middle of slavery, you had the African that came, is meeting a second to third generational slave. And the African is like, damn, this is messed up. I got caught up. I need to get the hell out of here. This is not how it's supposed to be. So, and then you have the FBA on some, damn, this is just how it is. Damn, I don't like spending my life like this, but hey, it is what it is. And it may be someone who wants freedom or not. It may be the person that sees the broken fence on a plantation and he may think like, I need to fix that fence. Or you may have one to be on some like, I need to run away. We don't know what type of FBA person it is because they're a mixture, right? So you got these two people meeting and you got the African on some, yo, we're not built to do this. We're not supposed to be doing this. We have inalienable rights, inalienable freedoms. If it was me back home, I had my own house, I had my own farm, I was able to do this. Oh, I was a teacher, I did this, I did that. And the FBA looking at them like, this nigga here crazy. Niggas can't teach. Niggas not supposed to have their own thing. What kind of master you had? And the African is like, I didn't have no master. I'm my own master. This nigga here crazy. These are the type of people that are meeting. So the second, third generational slave, all he knows is slavery, right? What I said before, I said a nigga is nothing but a broken African. So you have two people that have two real realities, but one doesn't understand the other. So one is in their right mind and the other one is out of their mind. So you have these two people in close proximity of each other, and they're pretty much infighting with each other. So, but we all know the slave mentality has to be purged from the diaspora, even some continental Africans. That mentality has to be purged. And he's saying that has nothing, the past does not affect us presently. That's just retarded. That's just retarded. That's a stupid thing to say. But he's trying to get you in coon mode, in Republican mode, where you don't mention any of your ills. Like, white people can't even get over 9/11. Not saying they should get over 9/11, but 9/11, about 3,000 people died. It wasn't just white people, so it wasn't even racially motivated. But the fact that it was a personal attack on them, on Americans, on people like that, we took that seriously. Why? Because we have integrity and we know we have the right to live without anyone harming us. He's saying we shouldn't have that right. We should not be thinking like that. We should just get over it. White people can't even get over OJ being free. They kept trying to attack him on every other level. They couldn't even get over that. They couldn't get over one man. Allegedly, he's been proven innocent. If it don't fit, you must acquit. Right? Even if they feel that, hey, he should go to jail and stuff like that. Okay, he was acquitted, right? He went through the court of law. He was acquitted. He was, and that was it. Justice was served. Even if you think justice was served, you have to respect the law. But no, they can't. They can't get over that. But black people, the most traumatized, the most horrific things happen to us against crimes of humanity happen to us. It's us and Native Americans, right? I think we're number one, then Native Americans, because at least Native Americans still know they Native Americans, and they couldn't work them like that. You know what I'm saying? Native Americans still know they're Native Americans. They still have their culture. They still have a lot of things intact. Their numbers are down, right? But they still have things intact. Us, we're something else right now. But again, we're gonna let Pan-Africanism tells it.
Black folks used to get together and they take care of one another. You get beat down by massa, the black woman, the black man pick you up off the ground, pull you into the slave quarters, and the black woman come in there and nurse your wounds and nurse you back to health. You come back stronger than you were before. So how do we blame slavery? How do we blame slavery when we had to come together to survive? Therefore, we came together in an amazing way.
We came together in spite of slavery, and we had to come together because all we have is us, right? How is it that the dynamic different? You want to run under Donald Trump's nuts. You want to run up under Republicans that drew a line in the sand, like I always say, that don't care for you. So why are you not taking that same mentality that our ancestors have and apply it to right now and apply it to today?
To the point where we were able to damn near thrive even under inhuman bondage. How are you going to blame that for what we got now, this disunity and radical individualism? You can't blame that on slavery.
So slavery taught us how to be one, right? Slavery told us how, hey, black people, y'all need niggas, y'all need to be families, take care of each other and do. The institution of slavery did that for black people. It did that for black people. The breeding farms did that for black people. It did that. Slavery gave us dignity. Yeah, right. He's a Republican. He has to. It's just a weird thing. He has to guilt you in not being guilty, or guilt you in not feeling bad about what happened to you. That's what he's trying to do, and it's a weird thing, and it's a disgusting, deplorable thing. But Republicans are deplorables. I like Hillary Clinton for that. She was spot on with that. Like that doesn't make any sense to do that, to forget about. And his whole thing is, well, if you go into victimhood, trauma bonding. If you do that too much, it's gonna leave you stagnant. No, it's not gonna leave you stagnant. That is not what leaving you stagnant. is your work ethic and you having a clear goal. Even if that leaves you stagnant, that doesn't mean you're supposed to forget about it. So that this failed house nigga ideology that you don't need to remember your trauma and what the suffering that your ancestors go through is bullshit, because Jews do that all the time. Here in New York, they still dress like it's 1942. They still dress like it's 1940. That's just their costume. That's their getup. I shouldn't say a costume. That's just who they are. They still dress in that particular manner, so they could always, hey, look, this is how my ancestors were back then. They just hold on to that as a constant reminder, and it pushes them forward, and they use it as a vehicle for economic, political, and financial freedom and independence and power. So it's okay for them to trauma bonding and victimhood. It works for them. Chinese do that. Japanese did that when we were putting Japanese in concentration camps, and Chinese they have a cohesion together. Native Americans, they have a cohesion where they're together, and when on the political landscape, they use what happened to them to gain to gain an advantage politically and financially. That's what they use to do. They use what happened to them in this country. Why? Because a debt is owed. You did something to me and my people that set us back, and you are responsible for it. So because you're responsible for it, you're going to have the one that's going to have to pay. It's very simple. But someone that wants to undermine you and don't want nothing and don't want any justice to be done to you or for you are going to tell you to look the other way. You better leave them white people alone. You better not make them white people feel bad, because they're not going to give you anything. So if you want them to give you something, you better be nice to Master Trump. You better be whatever crumbs he gives you, you better be happy with it. This is the bullshit that he's trying to give to you, and this is who he sounds like. He sounds like this particular person over here. Like when I listen to him, I'll be like, yo, he sounds just like this dude. He sounds just like this dude. It's amazing how he sounds. But this guy I'm about to show you, he's a Republican too. So of course they're gonna sound alike. They may differ a little bit. This person, I feel he's a little bit more honest. He's a little bit more honest in his stance and aligns with his Republican values, right? So I'm going to share my screen right now and show you who I'm talking about. Like, who are you talking about, man? I'm going to show you who I'm talking about.
No, I've often said that thank God for slavery, because, had not, then the blacks who were here would have been stuck in Africa. And you see how bad Africa, everybody and mama trying to get out of Africa and come to America. And so God has a way of looking out for folks, and he made it possible by way of slavery to get black folks into this country. But 100% American. Proud of it. I thank God that he saw fit for me to get here. Never mind that, we were sold. I mean, I guess my ancestors way back, way young to win, were sold by Arabs and blacks to white folks and got us here. The white man came and brought us to the greatest country in the world. The ride over was pretty tough. But, it's like riding on a crowded airplane, and when you're not in first class. It's a tough ride. But you're happy when you get to your destination. And so the ride was tough over here. The pain for freedom was tough, because in life, if you want to gain something, you got to lose something. No pain, no gain. So it was a tough. The pain was tough, all for the sake of freedom. So I thank God that He got me here, and to show my appreciation to the blacks who suffer as a result of coming here, and the Arabs and blacks who sold us to the white man for going there and getting us and bringing us here. I want to say thanks.
Don't that sound just like Brandon? That sounds just like him. That sounds just like him. You can't say that doesn't sound like him. That sounds just. Hold on, Yeah, that sounds just like him. So it's amazing how similar they are. They're amazingly similar. Hold on, I think I have another one. And another one. And another one. And another one. So right here. Yeah, let's do that later. So I'm going to share my screen again. Boom.
Hi, Jesse.
Why you?
Why do you feel the need to kowtow to white supremacists?
And what do you mean?
You said, and I quote, you said exactly about slavery. Thank God and white people for slavery. That is something white supremacists would say. Why do you feel the need to kowtow to them?
And why is it that I'm kowtowing down to them by saying what I think about it?
You think slavery is a good thing?
Yes.
What? Why?
That's a good question.
So, this is Jesse Lee Peterson. He's a Republican, obviously. He gay too, FBA. Last video I did, I told you why FBA is so overwhelmingly gay. So he's supposed to be a minister, or a minister, a Republican advocate, all that. He's Sean Hannity's best friend and all this other stuff, all those things. But he's a Republican, so he's a hypocrite. So he's a pastor, but he's supposed to show a Christian pastor. He's supposed to show love towards humanity. Anything evil, you're supposed to say, well, that's the devil, and us as Christians, we need to move forward. You don't thank God for a horrific act. You don't do that, and you definitely don't be gay. So all the things he says that he is total hypocrisy. He's gay, so he shouldn't be a Republican. He's a pastor, right? And he's not holding the tenets of what Christianity is and should be. So it makes sense because he's a Republican. So let him finish.
I think it was good in that those were the times, and it allowed us to be born in America, the greatest country on this side of heaven. We were allowed to be born here rather than sneaking across the borders or having to fill out an application and wait for years or take a test, which we would have never passed, by the way. But take a test and...
You heard that? Take a test. He said, which we would never pass, by the way. This is this whole thing that black people are stupid. And if a white man is giving you a test, he's giving you a test based upon common sense and knowledge. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. Woo!
And so rather than, and all cultures have been enslaved in one form or fashion or another, right? And so rather than wimping and whining and begging, especially blacks today who don't even know anything about slavery, they have freedom.
Isn't that what he says? He says black. Brandon says the same thing. He says, "Oh, black people, you were even enslaved. What you know about slavery?" He says the same thing. Would you tell a Jewish person today, "Oh, quit about that Holocaust. You don't know what is it to be in a gas chamber? Shut up." No one would tell any other people that going through anything. No person would tell a Native American, "Oh my gosh, did you ride along with Running Bull? Shut up. Were you on the Trail of Tears?" Like, why are you keep complaining? Stop with the victimhood. Stop trauma bonding. No one does that. But black people, they're going through one of the most horrific things, one of the worst crimes during humanity. They tell you forget about it. The only people that tell you forget about it are racists. Those are only people that tell black people to get over certain things because they're racist. Because those are usually racists telling you that. They say the same exact thing.
To do what they want. Instead of complaining, I would show my appreciation to the folks who died and sacrificed their lives that I might be born in the greatest country in the world.
Showing your appreciation to our ancestors is praising the people that wanted slavery. Because remember, slavery is a legal institution in the United States. So you're saying your ancestors back then would want you to praise your former enslavers for being here. That's what he's saying. You're saying someone that's locked up in a prison, once they're free and they're allowed to run around in the yard, that they should be kissing the boots of the person that locked them up in the first place. This is the FBA Negro Republican mindset.
So even though slavery looked like it was a bad thing, it turned out to be good for us because we could be stuck in Africa somewhere.
Wait, what?
And nobody wants to be stuck in Africa somewhere. Africa's horrible. That's why the FBAs don't want to go there, because the white man told them Africa is this, Africa is that, Africa is this. You have a white man telling your black behind about what Africa is, instead of you could go find out for yourself and talk to people that's been there, people, your ancestors, your people that you share the same bloodline with. But if you want to be an FBA and say that's not me, so you rather hold down to master bloodline, because most of you got like 15-20% European DNA. Y'all rather grab on to that 20% DNA and identify with that versus the 80-70% African that you're in. Doesn't have to make sense. We talk about FBA and Republicans. It's not supposed to make sense.
Why do you have to liken it to being on a crowded airplane? That's what you said about slave ships. Why do you have to trivialize it?
That's another good question. You know how when the slaves were coming over, and yes, they were like right down in the bottom of the boat there, and and if you, I don't know if you ever been on an airplane, when you ride in the back of the plane, it's like riding on a slave ship. The seats are so close together, and they don't feed you anymore back there. I think they're changing that now, but they don't feed you. And you can be sitting next to fat people who are musty, haven't bathed or anything like that. And so what we did was we created a slave ship to send the black.
I'm going to say Jesse's stupid. I'm just going to go with that. I like giving people the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he's stupid. He got it a quarter right. Yeah, you have people on the ship that weren't in good, humane conditions. So you have people that probably, when you're in inhumane conditions, you get sick, you get diseases, right? We're talking about, this is a voyage that lasted over a month. You're not moving, you're getting sores. right? You're urinating and defecating where you are. You having women having their menstrual cycles. You had all the problems that people will have. Let's say like in a prison. Even prisons have bathrooms. Even you're allowed to shower in prison. You're allowed to have deodorant in prison. You're allowed to have tampons in prison. You're allowed to medical care in prison, right? They just don't let you sit there. But that's what they did. So he's just an idiot.
That's bad. Who are complaining about this country rather than showing them, giving to the country. We created a slave ship, and it's the same type of ship that they came over here on.
He says instead of complaining about the country, we need to give to the country. So according to him, black people didn't give anything to this country. Even though we fought in all their wars, fought for the racist Confederacy, we fought for the semi-racist Union, we fought in every war. We even fought in the Revolutionary War, so-called Revolutionary War of 1776, for the British and the Patriots. Right, Vietnam, Desert Storm, fought in we never gave anything, and that's just militarily.
So that if they want to go back, we'll send them back.
Well, you do know at least half of the people on the slave ship and they're dying from starvation and disease and stuff like that. It's a little different than an average airplane, don't you think?
Well, nowadays it's possible to die on an airplane. But I do understand.
That's a Pan-Africanism thing. That's what Brandon would do. You catch him in one thing, right? And then he'll say something ridiculous. Oh, well, you could die on a plane. No one said you couldn't die on a plane. All the man was saying is not the same like a plane because we die. Oh, you could die on a plane. Like just abhorrent and despicable people.
Understand that, and that's the reason that I'm living upright as a Black American.
You're not living upright. You living bent over.
Show my appreciation to those folks who died on those ships that I might be here.
It's okay.
Does that make sense? Does that make sense at all?
No, it doesn't. But
so is it better to show your appreciation or to complain the rest of your life?
I'm not.
That's what Brandon says.
Victimhood. Stop with the victimhood. Victimhood all the time. Sure, police you. So what if he got shot? So what, you can have a gun. Trauma bonding. Stop the trauma bonding.
A supporter of Black people keep on complaining, but I'm saying
which is better, to show your appreciation or to complain?
I'm
asking you a question. I'm not saying you are. Which is better, to show your appreciation or to complain?
I'm not going to appreciate slavery, no.
And why not?
Because millions of your ancestors, not mine, I'm an immigrant, the millions of your ancestors.
Where are you from?
He ain't a FBA. Here we go. He ain't no FBA. He know what he talking about. He ain't no FBA.
Well, I mean, I grew up here, but I was born in Africa.
Oh. And so
So he was born in Africa. So we're talking to a continental African. You have a continental African talking to your typical FBA, trying to tell him like, hey, yo, how you saying slavery is okay? Slavery is not okay. And you got a continental African that grew up in the States knowing that what slavery is, and he's talking here to a FBA saying, no, slavery is all good. Thank God for slavery because I don't want to be no Africa. Isn't that what FBA says? Isn't that what FBA said? FBA says Pan-Africanism is dead and blah, 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 nothing popping in Africa, blah, blah, blah. Jesse Lee Peterson is the epitome of what FBA is and what they represent. Verbatim. The things he's saying is what FBA says verbatim. It's crazy. This is what FBA says verbatim. And this is what their political affiliation is. They're Republicans. They're Republicans in nature. They have Republican tendencies. They don't like immigration. They want a wall to be built. Not again, a wall to be built just for Mexicans and Haitians and Africans. But the Europeans could come here and the Chinese could come here. Even the goddamn Arabs. Well, I don't know about not the Arabs. They all could come here. They got no smoke for Europeans, for European immigration. They got nothing to say with a whole bunch of Canadians coming. They got nothing to say with a bunch of Europeans coming. But no, them Africans and them Haitians and them Caribbeans. No. But here you have an African trying to talk some sense into an FBA. Ain't that something? And this is an old video. This is an old video that goes to show you that, hey, yeah, you may have some coon Africans, some Africoons, and you may have some Caribbean coons and stuff like that. Yeah, there's coons in all of our societies, no matter where we're from, because we are under some of us were, and some of us still are under white rule, under European imperialistic rule, either through past colonialism or current colonialism, or which is what's going on right now. But for the most part, here in this case, in this situation, we have an African that has a black man, a black African man that has his head on straight. And this is what I've been saying on my channel for the longest time. You cannot fool Africans and Caribbeans and other black people that's been here with this FBA bullshit saying that we're trying to undermine you and we don't know what we're talking about because we're from another country. It's dumb. Whatever you know, we know. I see you. We grew up here among you. You can't just bold-faced lie. It might be, I mean, you might get away with other black Americans that never grew up around so-called immigrants. You know, so they probably in the backwoods or in Louisiana or Tennessee or Mississippi. No one ain't trying to go out there. There ain't shit out there. People come here to make money. Just like when Europeans, when they come here to do what? Make money. Chinese, what do they do here to come here? To make money. That's what people do. And they can make money, they make money, and they go back. If they stay, they stay. Or they'll be in between. You know what I'm saying? But we have an African brother here trying to set FBA straight. And they can't get straight for some reason.
Mad at me for showing my appreciation, and you don't even know you that doesn't even make sense.
What doesn't make sense is from
here you are from Africa. You came over here freely, right?
Yeah.
And you're doing well, right?
And I show my appreciation.
And you're doing well, right?
Yeah, and I show my appreciation.
Who are you to tell me I can't appreciate my own country? This is not even your country.
No. I said you.
I can't believe you.
Yo, I said you cannot appreciate.
Sounds like the white man is talking to him in his headpiece. If he was born here, he is an American. So what he's talking about? So what is he talking about? My country. What is Jesse Lee Peterson talking about? My country. It's his country too. He was born here. So once you're born here, you automatically become a citizen. His parents might be citizens, maybe not. His parents might be citizens, but even if they're not, and they're here legally, it's their country too, and they're contributing to their country. They're not just sitting around doing anything. No one just sits around doing anything. You have to make a way for yourself, right? And he sounds like a grown person here, so he's obviously an American citizen, and he's contributing and trying to put FBA correct. But hey, look, FBA don't do anything wrong. Black Republicans don't do anything wrong, and that's just how it is.
So appreciation.
I can't believe you, man. I bet you're doing well, right?
I did not say you shouldn't show your appreciation for the country. I said you don't show appreciation for slavery.
Why not?
Let me tell you this.
Why not?
The Holocaust is a bad thing.
No,
right?
No. Why not show appreciation for slavery? It allowed me to be born in this country.
You could have been born here. You could have immigrated here for slavery.
I don't know that.
Millions and millions.
No, I don't know that.
Well, so would you rather be? Wow. If you went through slavery, then I'm telling you, you would have a completely different view.
I know about slavery better than you do. I grew up on a plantation. You came here freely.
Are you still in the plantation?
So what?
Yeah, they talk like they're still in the plantation. That's how Republicans talk. Republicans be on some. They be in the field. They be looking at Master House on the hill, like, oh Lordy, it'll sure be nice to be up there. You got drinking lemonade. You got the boy, you wearing nice clothes. They're in the shade. It'll sure be nice. I think that nigga live in the attic. Or maybe the basement, or just the little shed out back, which is nicer than the one we got here. Hey, this is what we need to do, y'all. We need to stop complaining every time Master kick our ass and rape and beats us. We could be like them niggas in the house there. This is like pathetic, yo.
You still in the plantation, apparently.
Like, you should be ashamed of yourself. You come to my country and going to tell me how I should act about my country.
No, I said
that is where I can't believe you, man.
Wait, let me tell you something.
How are you going to come to my country and tell me how I should be acting about my country?
Was the Holocaust against?
That sounds like Dinus. That sounds like Dinus. When I checkmate him politically, when he's on him and Gala Genesis, when I checked him politically, and they had nowhere to go but to attack me personally. They're supposed to be, again, these are fake Pan-Africanists. Dinus is a fake Pan-African. These are fake Pan-Africanists, because if you're going to start with the FBA talking points and go about an FBA script, all of a sudden they got the FBA script when they have nowhere else to go. Like, geez, how should I insult this guy? They can insult me in any way, but you're gonna go to where I'm from, where you're supposed to be in a Pan-African space. We're supposed to be in a Pan-African space. There's a Nigerian here, another African there, maybe a Gambian there, whatever, a couple of Caribbeans there. No, you're an ignorant immigrant because I feel politically you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, that's fine. Why can't I just be ignorant? Why have to be an ignorant immigrant? You see what I'm saying? They always got that FBA playbook right next to them just in case they need it.
That's neither here nor there.
No, I'm just asking you. I need your opinion.
I don't know. I didn't go through the Holocaust. I'm talking about the slavery thing that the black folks went through.
So which was, okay, so what you said.
What kind of work? What type of work do you do?
Work. I'm in college.
And see there? So you came here to my country, and did you volunteer and come here, or did someone make you come?
Well, I was very little when I came here, so it wasn't.
Who brought you here?
My parents, who are citizens.
Do they know? So, yeah. They know that you are going along with these black Americans who were born here? Do your parents know? Do they?
See, so his parents are citizens and everything, right? And now he's gonna go in talking bad about black Americans and yada 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 yada. The same typical FBA Pan-Africanism. It's nothing different. It's absolutely nothing different. It's the same damn lame nonsense. So I wanted to show you guys that. And that's what FBA is done. Yeah, Tulip T, his mind is gone. You know what I'm saying? You know, they totally lost it. They totally lost it. And this is how they're infusing Pan-Africanism with Republicanism, but you can't do that because Pan-Africanism, like I said, what Garvey never said anything about being all up under white people. Garvey always spoke about what happened to us and the strength that we have and that we could overcome our rightful place in this world as men, our rightful place as men. Even in the civil rights, every time I tell Black Americans this, man, like my optometrist, I go in Bed-Stuy. There's that optometrist in Bed-Stuy. Real nice guy. A guy owns a shop, right? You know, sells it's like a Cohen's or optical fashion, whatever. No, send my kids there. I go there, whatever. I don't know. So the optometrist guy is a younger guy there. I don't know if they're related because the shit the young dude be doing, he's cool, but he be on some bullshit, right? You know. And they have a picture there of, the famous thing from the civil rights of when we were civil rights saying, I am a man. Because what Jim Crow did, Jim Crow took away your ability to move as a human being. It took away your humanity, right? That's why, and it wasn't civil. That's why we needed civil rights. But here we are. We have people saying that, no, you don't need civil rights. You don't need none of that. You just need to be thankful. Right? So let me move on because we got a lot more to cover here. Hold on one sec because we're about to get into the second segment of this. So this is basically about him talking. I'm going to critique what he was basically going in because, again, all that stuff I said at the beginning is not important. You know what I'm saying? Pedophile Matt Gaetz still holding down his seat, not important. Trump stealing secrets from the FBI, not important. A 10-year-old girl getting raped and Republican states not wanting her to get an abortion, not important. What abortion not being for rape victims, not important to him. Abortion being for women who had miscarriages and they have a stillborn fetus, right? And they need the same procedure to get an abortion so the fetus could pass. The Republicans are like, no, you're gonna give birth to a dead fetus. That's not important to him either, but he cares about children and he cares about life. He's trying to protect children. Not important. Donald Trump and Giuliani trying to get people during the January 6th, get them killed, right? And working with the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys, not important. None of that's important. What's important right now is Nina Turner losing and Nina Turner saying that Jimmy Dore is racist. And what's his take on that is, so she's virtue signaling. She's doing victimhood, no victimhood. It's gonna trigger you. She's gonna do a psyop on you. That's all he's gonna do. That's what's important right now. Trump selling nuclear secrets might be there's nuclear information, and why would you keep that? Because Trump is cash poor. He don't want to give his taxes or anything like that. Trump is always doing a grift, right? He's all like Trump University. They didn't teach you nothing. It was a scam. People that went to Trump University sued Trump, and Trump had to give them their money back. What rich person does scams like that? If you good with your money, you good. You don't hear Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk doing scams like that. You don't hear Bill Gates doing scams like that. Trump is always doing some little scammy fundraiser thing that never intends to do what it's supposed to do. Like, what's this thing he did? He did the Save America after he lost the election, Save America thing, whatever, for litigation. He didn't do that. He ended up spending the money on other things. It's like, y'all are some fucking fools, man. So anyway, I hope I get through all this because I don't want it to be lengthy, but I'm really trying to have you guys understand the psychotic mentality of R1 Pan-Republican. He's Pan-Republican. He ain't B1. He ain't black first. He's Republican first. It has co-opted his mind like a virus. So I'm gonna let him tell it what's going on. And hold on a second, just in case if anybody wants to come in, I'll put the link there in case anybody wants to come in and they have something to say. Because look, I'm not a person that's just gonna say something just to say something. Everybody is welcome here, as long as you respect the stream, respect the host. Everybody is welcome here. I'm not gonna say that, and you say something that's frustrating and like a bitch, like Brandon and Dynas, just kick you off. Right? We could agree to disagree, and just keep it like that and keep it pushing. Right? And we could do that. You know what I'm saying? So words are just words, but hey, I'm all down for showing and improving, because there's nothing you could say to me that respectfully that I'm gonna kick you out of here, especially if you're being respectful. Like I said, you could say that monkeys fly and Trump is smarter than Einstein. Okay. Or Trump is rich beyond measure. Yeah, okay. You can say that. Or Trump was the best president ever. You can say that too. I'm not going to kick you out for that, as long as you do it in a respectful manner. So let's see the bullshit that he's saying, because there's a lot of bullshit in what he was saying. Some true, some just straight up bullshit. I'm like, what? And I don't know, it's because maybe his audience, you think his audience is dumb? Because I don't think all those people could be stupid. I think people are just looking at it like, look what this nigga's saying here. Like, you believe what this dude is saying? I think they're doing that because not that many people be co-signing the dumb shit. You got like about half siding with him, but then you have a little more than a half saying, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So let's get to it. Boom, 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 boom. I don't know. Am I sharing my screen now? Yes, I is. All right. So he's going to talk about Nina Turner, because that's what black people need to understand living in America. He's going to go through her resume. And I'm not going to go through the whole entire thing. I'm not going to do it. But we're going to sit here and listen to some of it so we get an idea where he's coming from.
Is an American-born educator and politician, a member of the Democratic Party. She was a Cleveland City Council member from 2006 to 2008, and a member of the Ohio Senate from 2008 until 2000. Omar is there with her segment Unbossed on YouTube. Okay, so basically Nina Turner is a progressive. Progressive politicians that you might know are people like Ilhan Omar, what's her name? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the lady from New York,
Rashida Tlaib,
who says a lot of things to gain attention from the media, but pretty much progressives.
She says a lot of things to get attention from the media. Again, more Republicans attacked her for how she was dressing. They said she dresses too poorly. She dresses too homely. No. They said she wear expensive clothes. But so they attacked her how she dressed. They attacked her because she's too young. Because she's too young, she say she's stupid. This is that. I don't like her in particular too much. I really don't care for her. The only thing I do like her for, she does fight to increase the minimum wage. Everything else to me is like, I really don't care about her politics really too much like that, you know, but she's not presiding anything that I would be staunchly against. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that he says she says things just to gain attention is pretty much going with the Republican mindset of saying that, oh, she's an idiot, she's young, she doesn't know what she's talking about, yada 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 yada. But Republican women say the most craziest things also. And Marjorie Taylor Greene says a lot of stupid, crazy shit. So what does she say here? You guys just Googling crazy things Marjorie Taylor Greene says, right? It says in a recently uncovered Facebook post, Greene alleged that space lasers were responsible for the 2018 California wildfire known as Camp Fire. The lasers, she said, were funded by the Rothschilds and were being used to clear forests for high-speed rail line when they miss, sparking a fire. So that's usually the Rothschilds is Jewish, so that's more anti-Semitic nonsense and things like that, right? This is what she said, but she continues. Right here, Marjorie Taylor Greene's recent comments about the government surveillance and cheeseburgers are widely unhinged, even by her standards. The first-term Congresswoman who last week won the Republican primary. This is what she was saying, things like this before she ran. It's not like, oh, I didn't know she was about that. That's what I'm telling Republicans, man. They're monumental morons, right? The Republican delivered the remarks during the broadcast of MTG Live, her social media stream podcast. Let's go a little bit further. Right, so this is a Vice article. Everything disturbing conspiracy Marjorie Taylor Greene believes in. Right? So let's go through it real quick. She believes in QAnon. Right? There's a video there, but I'm trying to get through this real quick. But just look at the Vice. Vice has a video for this, right? She believes Hillary Clinton has a kill list. The Vegas mass shooter was a false flag. That's the tweet. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the Vegas mass shooting, just to remind us all that she's a dangerous, crazy person. She said it was a false flag. Said something about Seth Rich, queuing on from the start. Let's play this real quick, y'all. See what she said.
Okay, now, have you guys been following 4chan, Q, any of that stuff? Anybody? I'm gonna watch for your comments here. Okay, so we posted an article just a few days ago about who is Q. We posted that on American Truth Seekers. There has been a lot of chatter. I don't know how much you guys know about Q. It's an anonymous person. All right, so Q is a patriot. We know that for sure.
See, so Q is a patriot. Okay, that's all we need to know. She's a fucking nutter. She's a nutter, right? Racist, anti-Semitic, Islamophobia. We know that. She's a Republican, of course. Hang Obama and Clinton. Right here, and then you read it right here from Facebook posts, yada, 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 right? So this is what she's saying, false flag shooting. You know, her and Alex Jones saying false flag shootings of kids, Parkland shooting, even what happened there in Texas, all of that. See, Sandy Hook, space lasers, Jewish space lasers. Y'all don't know if y'all heard of that. Same thing, 9/11. We said Obama is a Muslim, all that stuff. Killing Nancy Pelosi, just like Trump said, when they did the insurrection January 6th, they went inside Pelosi. I think she was threatening AOC. She was threatening AOC. I think one time when AOC came over there, she was like threatening her and all this other stuff. Right? For Facebook, whatever. See? School shooting survivor is a coward. She just says a lot of crazy shit. But this silly Negro is going to say AOC says things just to get attention. Just to get attention. That's what AOC says, according to him. Right? So we prove that to be a lie. But like I said, he doesn't hold his party to the same standard that he would, the other party, right? Not in favor of other, but just tell the truth. Saying the Democrats may say things like, Black Lives Matter. Yeah, Black Lives Matter. Your Democrats show that Black Lives Matter. Why don't you put something to protect Black people? If Black Lives Matter, why don't the Democrats put something to protect on Black people? You're just saying it. I don't want to see y'all in kente cloth, just disrespecting the kente cloth for a political prop, and then y'all don't do nothing when you're the people that could do something. Like, give me a freaking break. The whole point, just be honest. Just be honest, right? But like I said, but when you're being FBA and you being a pan Republican and you are one first, then yeah, this is what you're gonna say. This is gonna be your talking point. You're gonna say a lot of stupid, ridiculous shit, right? So let's get back to our scheduling program. Like I said, I'm not gonna go through the whole thing and stuff like that. I just want to give him rope to hang himself, as he always does politically. He does all the time. That's why he hates me. That's why he hates my guts, because I challenge him. I don't let him run off the mouth like he's the authority. It's his channel, is his whatever, but I'm not gonna have him sit here. If you supposed to love the people and for the people, if you say something that's a lie, I'm gonna say, hey, bro, that's not true. But he has a Republican political agenda. So of course he's gonna get mad when someone like myself comes and call bullshit on what he's saying. So let's get back to it, buddy.
Are far left-wing Democrats, better known as liberals, right? Also known as liberals. These people, I'm not going to explain it to you. I found a article that I feel will do a really good job of explaining to you what a progressive is. So let me just pull that up. I just want to make sure.
The site that he's pulling up, it's kind of neutral. Let me say it's fair. And even he says that some of the things there doesn't make any sense, right? So it's kind of fair, right? But I'm going to give you just the definition, not the site's definition.
The GOP and the Democrats, they're two sides with two differing opinions, but on a lot of different things, they kind of have the same understanding, like tax cuts for the rich, increase in the military budget, things like that. Getting rid of Social Security, things like that. They all want to kind of do the same.
That's a lie. They don't. Only one side wants to get rid of Social Security. One side runs on not getting rid of Social Security, and then they start talking about getting rid of Social Security, and that's the Republicans.
Stuff. But they have specific nuanced things that they differ on. Now, when it comes to a progressive, a progressive is a little bit more on what some people might call the extreme side.
That's his opinion. So, what's his bullshit? He has no credibility because he's a liar. He lies a lot, and just a deplorable person politically.
It just makes it straight to the point. Let me see. I'm gonna get it again.
And I'm going to show you guys something that I found extremely interesting. So I like what he did right here, and I'm going to show you why I like what he did right here.
Here we go. Okay. So let me make sure everyone can see that.
Yes, we can see that. So you guys, you see that? He'll blow it up. He'll go on that site. And I went on that site, right? It's interesting. It's interesting. Like I said, it's fair, right? Maybe they think you guys are going to go on the site. But I went on the site and and I did, and I'll just let him talk first, then I'll show. Then I'll show you what I'm talking about.
All right, perfect. And I'll read it. What are the differences between progressives and moderates? Progressives and moderates differ in their orientations, particularly as progressives tend to be more ideological, whereas moderates tend to be more practical. Well, when you're very young, you're more ideological. Hey, we need to say...
Shut the fuck up. Just read the definition. Stop putting things in. Stop interpreting things and inserting things that's not there. Shut the fuck up.
Save the planet. Hey, we need to say when you're very young, you're more ideological.
Yes, I'm gonna let him. Yeah, I'm gonna let him say that. Yeah, yes, I'm gonna let him talk. I forgot who I was dealing with. Let's let him talk, guys. Please remember what he's saying.
Ideological. Hey, we need to save the planet. Hey, we need to save the elephants. Hey, all these ideological. We need to end all war. Hey, we need to end all poverty. Hey, we need to end homelessness. That's when you're young, you're full of piss and vinegar, and you just think we can fix everything if everybody just understands what's going on. You don't.
So everybody is not supposed to. So you're not supposed to have people understand everything for everyone to be on one page so we can fix our problems. And so as you get older, you think we can't have a cohesiveness politically to fix our problems. That makes sense.
Don't really have a lot of responsibilities. So you don't have a lot of responsibilities. So you're more open to different things that really pretty much involve you getting screwed over on behalf of trying to repair situations that may or may not be repairable. Indeed, progressives are more comfortable taking extreme views on various issues, whereas moderates generally do not. Me personally, I am a moderate. I don't believe...
He lied again. He's not a moderate. You have heard him many a times how he's a Trump supporter. He's a Trump supporter. The Republican Party is in no way, shape, or form moderate on anything. On anything. So he's lying. But I know why he's lying. And I'll show you why he's lying. And anyone that follows him, I'm not going to get into it, knows that Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump promised us this. Donald Trump gave black people a bunch of money for colleges. Black people, Donald Trump did this. Donald Trump kissed my ass. Donald Trump shined my shoes. Donald Trump washed my car. Donald Trump. That does not sound like a moderate. That does not sound like a moderate. Tell him to say, oh, can't you have any criticism for Donald Trump? No, I'll be stupid. Oh, if I say fuck Donald Trump, then I'll be stupid like you. Does that sound like a moderate to you guys? Yeah, so he's bold-faced lying.
In like doing anything at extremes, because it's like if you go and pursue something in an extreme way, on one end, you're probably neglecting something in an exchange. Many progressives think capitalism is a system that allows the strong to prey on the vulnerable. Now, this is kind
That's not true. But just take this all in. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because I want y'all to see something.
of the area that a lot of African Americans exist in. It's a contradictory view of, you know.
Okay, guys. You see my cursor? Good. You see this right here? He's not, I don't know, he's not showing us the whole chart. He's going to show us the other side, right? So just remember this chart right here, right? So what this chart is really, right? You go on the site, because I went on the site, like I said. You go on the site, and it shows you, it asks you to take a quiz, right? It asks you to take a quiz. And I'm going to show you that quiz. It asks you to take a quiz to see where do you fall on the political spectrum, right? So I took the quiz and everything, and it gives you the result. Now, like I said, you see that little thing that I showed you there with my cursor. But right now, it asks you, when you go on there to get all the information, there's something that it asks you to take a test, right? And I took the test. I'm going to show you the questionnaire that it has for that test. Okay. So this is the questions they ask you. And this is why I'm saying it's fair, but it's vague. So before we get to that thing that I showed you there, right? So, see, you can see it. It's the same site, right? So personal issues, right? Agree, maybe, disagree. So the first question, government should not censor speech, press, media, or internet. Now that's kind of vague. Let's click onto this little thing that it says right here. Censorship is the suppression or provision. Okay, they explain to you what it is. Images of other communication that might be considered offensive, dangerous, or harmful, right? So now we have context to this question, right? So again, government should not censor speech, press, or internet. So I'm going to put maybe. And the reason why I put maybe, sometimes the government needs to intervene, right? Has some censorship. What is censorship? What they need to suppress. Censorship is suppression or prohibit, right? So certain images everyone shouldn't see all the time. So if your kid is surfing, like my kids, you know, my daughter, she likes to play Roblox. It's like a little kids thing, right? I want some type of system, or I set it up in a way where it's only kid friendly. Like they got YouTube Kids and things like that. There's certain safeguards that you have so your kids won't see certain things as images, right? Certain things we shouldn't do, like snuff films. Like, oh, I'm gonna do a live and kill somebody. That's crazy, right? So, but that's why I would say maybe. I don't want to say agree, because I'm not going to say that, no, this should be nothing. So it all depends on what it is. So that's why I quit maybe, right? Military service should be voluntary. There should be no draft. Draft is mean the government say, like they did in Vietnam, if you're 18 to whatever, the government could just enlist you. So me, staunch no. Right? Okay. There should be no laws regarding sex between consenting adults. Right? I agree. Why am I policing people's sex for? Right? A Republican will most likely put disagree. You know what I'm saying? Because Republicans, they're all on the Bible Belt. These are these evangelical people that believe everything the Bible says, right? So, like Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that the founding fathers were Christian and all this other stuff and yada, yada, yada. Right? That's why there should be no gay marriage and all this other stuff and no abortion and this, that. Right? So they're not thinking scientifically. Right? That's a Republican mindset. What's the next one? Repeal laws prohibiting adult possession and uses of drugs. Agree. Right? I agree that there should be laws. Yes, the government should be able to have that power, right? Because that means anyone can just do drugs anytime, all the time that they want. Doesn't matter what type of drug, how much, or whatever. No, there should be regulation. That's why you have the FDA, right? The FDA is in charge. So when you go get Tylenol or Motrin, because my leg hurt, my knee hurt, I got a headache. That's by the FDA. FDA says, okay, we put so much codeine or so much of this or so little of that to have it so it's safe for consumption, right? Same thing with drugs, same thing with food. It has to go through the FDA, right? I know I'm probably blowing some of you Republicans' heads like, huh, what? FDA don't do that. That's what the FDA does. Look it up, right? Government should not target, detain, and deport undocumented workers. Now, I'm a Republican. The government should do that, right? Government should do that. Now, this is the thing. I feel if you're let's see what the context of this is. Presently, immigration and customs enforcement, so ICE enters workplace domain, deport workers with undocumented issues or whatever. Yeah, so if you stuck in the country and stuff like that, yes, the government should be able to detain you because there's other people here trying to, get here legally. Why should you be here illegally? That's not right. Right? You should go through the normal procedures. If you have issues, there's procedures that the government has in place so let's say you're coming from a war-torn country in Central America. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. So the Contra and stuff like that, have the whole region unstable and stuff like that. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. And they want to come, hey, look, I'm in a war-torn country. I want to seek asylum. So asylum seekers, they could do it that way. Don't do it the legal way, right? So I agree with that. Economic issues. Taxpayers should not be responsible for student loan debt. It's like, okay, how much debt are we talking? There's nothing wrong with and this is the tricky thing. Oh, so if you take a loan out, yes, you're supposed to pay back that loan, right? But it's saying that it's a loaded question. It's basically saying, if you saying that you don't want to pay your loan, you want the taxpayers to pay your loan, so you pushing your responsibility on other people. And it's like, okay, that's an argument. That's a legitimate argument. Now, do you have that same vigor when Donald Trump, Obama, and all those people give tax corporate welfare to the rich, giving them billions and billions of dollars? And like when Jeff Bezos was looking for, to build Amazon and all these other places that they weren't taxing them. Oh, you can open your Amazon hubs here and stuff like that. And it's going to take up all this real estate and take up all these things. We're going to give you a tax break on that. We're not even going to charge you a penny, which is billions of dollars. Did you have that same vigor for that? No, we're Republicans. We don't care about people. We just care about businesses and corporations. Democrats too, right? Especially like Joe Manchin and if you're invested in fossil fuel companies, then climate change is fake. It's fake. I don't care what United States scientists says, because it's a war on science. We hate science and we hate cops unless they're killing niggas. And other world scientists, the Europeans, the Chinese, it's all fake. It's all fake, right? Did you have that same vigor when it comes to that? No, you didn't, right? So that's why that gets a maybe. That's why I'm saying this site here is good, but it's deceptive at the same time. Government should not be responsible for providing health care. I say maybe, because every modern country like Europe and other places, and Canada, they don't pay for like healthcare. Some of them don't pay healthcare, or the cost is like next to nothing, right? And again, if everyone was taxed, especially rich people were being taxed at a rate, you won't have the taxpayers they won't go on the taxpayers. The rich will put in what they're supposed to put in, and then we could take from what they weren't paying, and we could apply that to student loans, so it won't raise the debt ceiling. We could do it that way. We could provide health care. Even the Koch brothers did a thing where they did a test where whoa. If we were to provide health care for the average American, we'll be actually saving money. So they kind of like, hey, maybe we should do, but that's neither here or there, right? So that's the trick. That's the trick with that, right? With healthcare, right? So I put maybe. Let people control their own retirement. Privatize Social Security. This is so Republican. So FDR and the New Deal and all the other stuff, basically it's saying there should be no social safety nets, right? So if you have an old person, they work for a crappy company that did nothing for them all their life, and they have nothing to retire on, right? They should just be living in the streets. But no, that's why we have Social Security, right? We have Social Security. We have social safety nets that when you get taxed on, when you get your check, when they take that money out, it's for your retirement and other things, right? So yes, the government should have so let people control their own retirement Social Security. So that I would disagree with that, right? What's the next one? Replace government welfare with private charity. What private charity? What private charity? So again, you're gonna make it on the kindness of Jeff Bezos' hearts and the 1%. They're gonna look out for the little guy. What? No, right? Cut taxes and government spending by 50% more. For what? Lower taxes and cut government expenditure by 50% or more from current levels. Cut it why and for what? That's a very ambiguous question. You put yes or no to that, you get dinged on either one depending on what they're talking about. So again, that's a maybe. It's extremely very vague. Before show results, do you think what best reflects your views? And I would say a moderate. Libertarian, yeah, but when it comes to certain things, because you need to be in a way where you could go any direction. So with that, we agree on. Me and Brandon agrees on. The only thing is he's a freaking liar when it comes to show and prove, and I'm going to stick to my guns, and I don't fall either side anyway. I'm not going to say something bad about Joe Biden. Okay. But I don't go, but Joe Biden did this and no, I'm not going to defend Joe Biden. I'm not going to say, yeah, I hate Joe Biden, but there's no buts, right? I give him kudos for the student loan, but it's like one thing. Okay, yay. He's still Sleepy Joe. He's still low energy. He still don't want to do anything for everyday average people. Only thing he cares about is what the Republicans think, what the Republicans say, and his donors. That's it. Oh, Joe Manchin is a friend of mine. Okay, Christian cinema. Let's do bipartisanship. He goes against his own party. Anyway, so I wanted to show you guys that because after you put all that in, you get this. So this is my results. So I'm a moderate, but I lean more on the progressive side according to this site. So personal issues score 60, economic issues score 30, right? And this is the graph right here that Brandon has. Why? I want to know why he didn't show you guys it, right? Because you're supposed to have something here, right? And you do see something where he kind of shows you it, but there's no thing here. So I don't know where he's showing you that, but I find it very convenient that he's doing this. So anyway, that's neither here or there. We're going into extra innings. Yeah. Now he said January 6th was no big deal. Yeah, he did say January 6th was no big deal. You know, so we're going to extra innings here, and I really was trying to get through everything. I was trying not to be long-winded, so I'm going to try to bring it home. But as you see there, that's the chart that he has, right? So let me go back real quick, real sick, right? That's what he has over there that he didn't show. So that's where I am, right? Hold on, let me unshare and get back to it. All right, so that I want to show you guys that so you can understand what was going on, what was going on, right? What was going on, so you could see what we were on the same site and what it was, to see how genuine he really is, which he really isn't. So let me go back here. Share this again. No. I don't care.
And that's the main point. That's a lot of reading. So I want to be clear about research. I love our production work. We don't just come on air and speak off the cuff without.
My fault. My bad, y'all. All right. So we're gonna get back to it. I'm gonna try to rush to it because we're like 2 hours in it already. I was trying to do this real quick, but I'm gonna be back here tomorrow doing this because I don't want to make this too long. I want to do this in stages so you guys can digest this. I don't want to hit you with everything at the same time. It says a lot of shit that I have to cover, and I got no problem with that. I'm not like him. You know what I'm saying? I have a job. I don't spend all day on YouTube and Twitter and going up to protest with hoochie daddy shorts, like Tariq says. So, but I'm gonna break this down, right? I'm gonna cut it short this time. But let me share this last point. I'm gonna have him say his last point and everything, and we're gonna I guess end it there. So let me just share my screen again. And another one. All right. So you notice here, as he's giving you the definitions, you got that there, right? And I'm like, I noticed, like, oh, he took it. He took the test. I'm like, okay, I wonder what he got. I wonder what he got because I was trying to compare it to mine. Right? So I'm like, oh, okay, this is curious. So right here, it just says moderate. So you see me, I leaned more on this side, and he's it says moderate here. So I don't know if he took the test or he took the test several times, so it came up moderate. I don't know. I'm just speculating, right? But for him, with all the crazy shit that he says, right, and what he's saying is crazy shit, by the definition we're about to do, is he would be, even if he came up moderate for real, he would have leaned dramatically towards the conservative. He wouldn't be in the middle at all. Not at all whatsoever, right? But it came up moderate. I'm like, wow, right? So we're going to have him explain a little bit, and we're going to go into the real definition of what a progressive is.
Conservative but I'm still a moderate. I still do look at things on a case-by-case basis.
Bullshit.
Pretty much all these different factions, they're just people who try to lump everything into one like box, and we need to do this to fix this. You know, this will fix everything. None of this stuff is going to fix everything. You really got to be more moderate, case-by-case basis. But I believe you should.
See, what he's saying is absolutely correct. But he does not put that into practice at all. Because if you're a moderate, right, and he's like, okay, for this issue, I'm going to lean conservative, right? And if it pans out, fine. But if it pans out bad, you got to be like, whoa. I got to go here or here. This nigga be going here. He be going to authoritarian. Really? He should be here. Because he likes Trump, and Trump is a freaking dictator, right? He defends January 6th, so he's an authoritarian politically. He's more here, like the circle should be like here, because he's in the middle of conservatism and authoritarianism. He's right here. He thinks January 6th is no big deal. It's whatever, just like Nap said, just like Nappy Yankee said. He's like right here. He defends it. So he should be in this box right here, right? Now, the whole Roe v. Wade thing, yeah, he did his conservative thing. He did his conservative Bible Belt Christian shuck and jive thing, right? But when you find out that a 10-year-old got raped, and Republican states don't care for her to get an abortion, right? Even for rape. When you find out that when women that are trying to get pregnant are miscarried and they can't even get an abortion, right? And you're right here. Moment you know and you hear that, you should automatically go to here or here or here. Anyway around here, maybe around the frame of a moderate. The frame in between a moderate and a libertarian, or a moderate and a progressive. This nigga just stayed right here. That's just despicable. So he says this when it comes to the scholastic part of it, but when it comes to put it in practice, no, he sticks to his guns. He's right here. He's right here, right? So I'm gonna let him lie a little bit more, because I love giving people rope to hang themselves.
You should kind of have more of a conservative leaning, where you err on the side of stability as opposed to erring on the side of, wild, reckless, ideological shots in the dark or spins of the roulette wheel. So you might be thinking, Brandon, what the hell does this have to do with Nina Turner? Well, let me get another article up here. Earlier this year.
Won't show us article. Don't care. Right? So I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go into definitions. Right? Right? So I'm going to look at what is the definition of progressive, right? Progressivism, right, is a way of thinking that holds that it is possible through political action for human societies to improve over time. As a political movement, progressivism supports to advance the human condition through social reform based on advancements in science, technology, economic development, and social organization. Stop. Full stop. Then this nigga just said that he says that climate change ain't real. All these other things. He says that progressivism is extremism. It's extremism. He says extreme. So finding a way of thinking, right, holds that possible through political action of human society. So we're involving everybody. It's not ostracizing people. It's not ostracizing people. And what's the base? It's through what's the vehicle? Through politics, right? Purports to advance the human condition. So we're doing advancement. Advancement how? Social reform. Based, the foundation, based on advancements in science. The basis is in science, technology, economic development, and social organization. Not authoritarianism, not conservatism. Social organization means everybody. It encompasses everybody, right? It hurts too. This way of thinking holds that progressivism has universal, means all, application and endeavor to spread this idea to human societies everywhere, not excluding. Oh, you don't believe this? Not you. Oh, you want it? Not you. Progressivism arose during the Age of Enlightenment. The Age of Enlightenment. Let's see what the Age of Enlightenment for you, for those of you who don't know. I know, but I'm going to read it to you. The 17th century, right? So this is like the Age of Enlightenment is the 17th century. So it's like, like Christian reform, because they were mostly like, they were mostly a theocracy and all these other things and stuff like that. This is where people started to think for themselves, started to think practically, right? Was an intellectual and philosophical movement that dominated Europe in the 17th and 18th centuries with a global influence and effects. The Enlightenment included a range of ideas centered on the value of human happiness, the pursuit of knowledge obtained by means of reason, and the evidence of the senses, the ideas such as liberty, progress, toleration, all these things here. Yo, this is how you know this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, right? That article, that's why I say that article, that site where he's reading from is a half-ass site, right? Right? That's what it is. Early Europe, just the of enlightenment. Where am I? I lost my place in Europe. Was empirical knowledge to governance to society, right? So that's what progressivism is. Now, if you want to have a conversation as saying, well, we don't need to be too progressive when it comes to this, then that's understandable, because what are the bases? The basis is science, technology, and happiness for everyone. That's what it's supposed to be about. There's supposed to be a section for everybody to thrive and be happy. That's what progressivism is, right? Not what he's saying or preaches to be, right? So let's do what definition of what conservatism is, which is the polar opposite. Commit to traditional values. Whose traditional values? And ideas with opposition to change or innovation. Yo, I gotta get me a soundboard. I need to drop a bomb. Let's read it again. Commitment to traditional values. Whose traditional values? White traditional values. We're talking about United States here. So we're talking about European idealistic traditional values and ideas with opposition to change or innovation. We want things the way they are. Keep it the way it is. I do not want it to change. That's why you have a lot of Republicans and conservatives. They want things to be how it is. And Donald Trump coined it best. Make America great again. Great again for who? When was there a time in America where it was great for everybody? There's no such time. There's no such era. Unless you talk about white people. Unless you talk about straight white males. it was a perfect, beautiful time for straight white males because women had no power politically, right? They had no power. Only power they had was the power that men gave them, which was next to nothing, right? And black people and Native Americans and Chinese, they didn't have any power or anything. So that's why amendments were invented. So they would amend a constitution or they would amend a rule or whatever for it to change, right? So conservatives hate change. They hate change and innovation, right? So it makes sense that he wants you to not be to stop with the victimhood and the victimization and trauma bending. Conservatism is petty, right? He wants you to stay the same because you cannot be a black Republican that has some dignity or want change. You have to want things way how white people got them, right? What's the second definition? The holding of political views that favor free enterprise, private ownership, and socially traditional idea. A party that exposes conservatives, the doctrines of a conservative party of Great Britain or a similar party elsewhere. Now, this goes for, I would say, the holding of political views that favor free enterprise. That's just capitalism. But I think they're trying to say capitalism unchecked, right? Capitalism unchecked, private ownership, right? That if because Republicans and authoritarian people right now, which is pretty much the same, they hate the government, they hate the FBI, they want to back the blue instead of only when it favors them, right? So the FDA is another, they don't believe in COVID and all this other nonsense. Why? Because they're anti-science, right? They're conservatism. They want people to stay stupid and dumb. They don't want to advance. They don't want to do anything of change, the opposition to change or innovation. So they're still stuck in the 15th century, right? They're not even going according to living the life that their ancestors did during the European age or the age of enlightenment during the 17th century, right? So to give an example, the FDA is a government organization. It's supposed to say, okay, people of the United States, you can eat this, you can take this drug, you not take that drug. So they want to defund that, right? So if I come up with a business and I'm giving people that got that has salmonella in it and all this other stuff, that's my right as an American, as a conservative. I can sell you stuff that make you sick. Who's gonna say I can't? The government? Oh, you try to control me. I want to make money. I want to sell things that give you mad cow disease and salmonella and E. coli and all these other foodborne allergens. I'm a Republican. God bless America. That's what they mean by conservatism. It's a bunch of total freaking idiots, right? Let's go to another definition. Let's go to the dictionary definition of what conservatism is, right? The inclination, especially in politics, to maintain existing or traditional order. Again, whose tradition are we going by? We're going by the tradition of the people who started slavery and wanted to wipe out Native Americans and said the only people that have rights are white men. This is you. This is the person. This is him trying to get you on there. And the next stream that he do, he's going to talk about how much Donald Trump is the best and all this other shit and how conservatism is really good for black people. He's saying black people want to be slaves. And I think he knows that. That's why he wants to say, hey, stop with the trauma. We don't want to hear that. Be good niggas and just shut up, put your head down and keep picking that cotton, nigga. Just like Jesse Lee Peterson, this is the best nation inside of heaven. While he bends down and take it from master, because Jesse Lee Peterson gay. This is like FBA, right? What's the second definition? A political philosophy or attitude that emphasizes respect for traditional institutions and opposes the attempt to achieve social change through legislation or publicity-funded programs. So this sounds, Yo, that's why you have racists that don't like BLM. I like the mantra, I don't like the organization. That's why you got people like Nixon that don't like the Black Panther Party, don't like the Nation of Islam. Right, because what they're trying to do, they're trying to, we are, Black people are naturally progressive. Black people are naturally libertarians and moderates. We're never for the status quo of authoritarianism or conservatism as a whole. We're not. We're simply not. Because if we were, we would say, you know what? The government had every right to kill Fred Hampton. They had every COINTELPRO. That's fine, right? We are people trying to have institutions in order for us to seek to change politically for our advancement, politically, socially, and economically. That's what we're doing it for. But conservatism is against that because it goes against what? The traditional order of America. Right? 3, caution or moderation as in behavior or outlook. Oh my God. Come on, y'all. Come on. Come on. This is what he wants. This is what white people want Black people to do. This is why white people don't want a bunch of quote unquote illegal immigrants coming in. Immigrants, period. Right? Because they're not white. Right? Fine. We give our women folk, white people, to give their women some leeway. Fine. They're the second hand of supremacy. Fine. If a European comes in, hey, you like me? Okay. Fine. You're able to come in, fine. But they'll analyze your politics. Right? But Black people, no. Black people, you better adhere to the tradition. You better not do anything to change. You better not put no new programs so you can seek change. You better bow your head down and pick cotton and nigga be happy that you here. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Right? And this is what he is promoting. This is what he wants. Right? So, tomorrow I'm going to do a second half of this, and we're going to get to the meat and potatoes as far as him, again, attacking Jimmy Dore. That's the most important thing. The president trying to keep nuclear secrets for what reason? That's not important. People attacking the FBI, that's not important. Rape victims have to carry their baby and stuff like that. That's not important. But he's never wrong. So if by him not retracting what he says, he believes that women that are raped should keep their babies. That 10-year-old should keep that baby. Right? He's not going to do a retraction for that. But now that I give you guys a definition, now you know what's what. Now you know what's what. And this is the type of person that we're dealing with right here, right now. This is the person that we're dealing with here right now. Right? If anybody want to come and put their 2 cents in or whatever, you're always welcome to come. Don't matter. But I just hope I'm just laying out the groundwork so you can see what's going on right now as far as like what it is. So when I go in, everybody will have a clear understanding of the right definitions of what we're talking about, right? We're not going to have like a skewed, dishonest view politically. We're not going to have that. We're not going to have that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just looking at this and stuff like that. It just infuriates me. Like, how can a Black man that says that he cares for his people lie to them? Oh, I have a platform now. that's gaining momentum. Let me lie to them politically. Also, you could be back in shackles mentally and physically again. I mean, some of us are already there. I mean, he's been there. You know what I'm saying? But this is what's more important. He doesn't care about children. He doesn't care about law. He doesn't care about order. He's all about the Republican. And this is the FBA mindset. He fights FBA, but he's so like them. And the fact that he can't see that is astounding. The fact that he can't see he's just like them is astounding. Him and Dynas and Gala Genesis, all of them are FBA. They use Pan-Africanism as a ruse. But let's say they're really Pan-African, right? There's not all people. I mean, even though there's a group cohesion, not everybody's going to think the same. I get that, right? So they could be Pan-African, but they're, when it comes to promoting it, but in a way of, hey, that's the way to go. That's what we should do, and that's how we should think. But they don't preach it. They don't show and prove it. They don't practice it. They say one thing and they do another. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing that's really despicable to me right now, right? But I'm going to cut it short. Well, I'm not going to cut it short. This is not short. We're like 2 hours in right now. We're like 2 hours in right now. I know anyone, like I said, I don't know if I put the chat in there. If anybody wants to come up or anything like that, I have their 2 cents to say. But if y'all just want to listen, hey, I'm fine with that too. I'm perfectly fine with that too. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here if no one wants to come in, and I'm gonna do part 2 and just to show you more hypocrisy, more lies, more FBA mentality, more R1, more pan-coonism, more pan-republicanism, and nothing to do with showing love and being honest with black people and make black people come to their own conclusion. It's like, you think black people are so dumb that you're going to have to lie to them and they're going to believe it hook, line, and sinker. You got to believe black people got to be really stupid to come on here and say that all the time and they just believe it. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. He's right. Yeah, he's right. And you're going to, and like I said, a lot of people, even when you listen to him talk, they be like, nah, bro, that's bullshit. And he gets so adamant and animated and just gets all crazy and you know, he's been trying, I think. From what I've seen, I see he tried to show some restraint. So I know he's listening to me because he's extremely emotional. There's nothing wrong with being emotional as long as you're able to control it and do it in a productive way, in a productive manner. But like that dude that comes on there all the time with the accent, Hustle Smart or whatever, stuff like that. That's why these brothers are so that why they like each other. They always talk about me acting feminine and they raised by these heifers. And why? Because same thing. Brandon was raised by a woman. He was raised by a woman. And when they talk about that, it's like they talking about themselves. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Because you're mad emotional right now. You can't let another man talk and just let him say what he has to say. And then you say what you have to say. But you're so emotional. You're so pussified and all this other stuff that you can't control your emotions as a man. If you grew up around men or been influenced by any man, you will know that keeping your emotions in check, right? And you can't do that. So when you having an argument with him, it's like you having an argument with a woman, because you will say, okay, let her say what she got to say, and let me apply some logic. And when you do that, he doesn't like what you say. He just overtalks you. It's like really sad. It's like really sad. But tomorrow, I'm gonna let you guys know when I'm gonna do it. Like I said, I don't be on YouTube all day like this dude. I have a job. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let you guys know when I can do it. But thank you for listening. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and as always, put your comments in to see, if I got anything right, wrong, or anything like that. Thank you for everyone who came in and listened and just basically share how they feel, good or bad. Say what you got to say, either in the chat or come in here and say what you got to say. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not gonna get a hissy fit. I'm not gonna say that just to sound righteous and all that other stuff. Like I said, as long as you respect the chat and me, the host or whatever, hey, you can say whatever you want. Don't care. But yeah, I'm definitely going to continue this tomorrow. I did not mean for it to go that long. Look, I could go even longer, but I got things to do. So I'm just going to end it right here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. I'm not going to ask you all for no donations. Hit my Zelle yes, doing this does take time away and stuff like that. But again, I'm doing this for the people, honestly, without no monetary support right now. Without no monetary support. Do I need certain things? Yeah. To help me do my broadcast a little bit better? Not really, but it will help. But it's not going to stop me regardless of talking to y'all and letting y'all know what's going on for real. So thanks for listening. Peace. Until next time.